For the last 100 years, the world believed a lie. We believed that the only way a desert could make a country rich was if black liquid buried underneath it. In the early 20th century, nations like Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Qatar dug into their barren sands, struck oil, and transformed into the absolute wealthiest empires on the planet. India has a desert too, the massive unforgiving Thar Desert. But if you dig into the sand here, you won't find a single drop of oil. For decades, it was considered empty, useless wasteland. But right now, India is using this exact same desert to build an energy empire so massive, it threatens to disrupt the global balance of power. We are talking about structures so huge, you can clearly see them from space. No, they haven't discovered a secret oil reserve. India has found something far more powerful and far more permanent: green energy. Why the sudden rush though? Why is Indian government pouring billions into these mega projects overnight? Because India is trapped in a $143 billion hostage situation, and this desert is the only way out. This is the story of how India is engineering the greatest energy revolution in human history, stopping a massive wealth drain and preparing to beat the Gulf countries at their own game. To understand the sheer scale of India's master plan, you have to look at the terrifying reality of India's current situation. To keep the lights on, keep the factories running and keep 1.4 billion people moving, India requires 245 million metric tons of crude oil every single year. But here is the devastating part. India produces only 12% of that oil at home. A staggering 88% of lifeblood of the Indian economy has to be imported from foreign countries. Do you know how much that dependency costs? $143 billion every single year. That is 12 lakh crore rupees. That is the money that should be building Indian schools, Indian hospitals and Indian infrastructure, completely draining out of the country to fund the skyscrapers and sovereign wealth funds of foreign nations. But money isn't even the scariest part, it's the geopolitics. Look at this map. 50 to 60% of all that imported oil, crude, LNG, LPG has to pass through the Middle East, specifically navigating through a tiny bottleneck called the Strait of Hormuz. This is arguably the most unstable, unpredictable region on the planet. It is a powder keg. One unexpected war, one drone strike on an oil facility, or one blocked shipping lane, and global oil prices don't just rise, they explode. If these supply chains are cut, India faces an immediate crippling energy crisis. And it's not just the Middle East. Relying on foreign oil means you are at the mercy of foreign leaders. When leaders like US President Donald Trump decide to weaponize trade, they try to dictate exactly who India can and cannot buy oil from, threatening massive tariffs if India disobeys. Relying on imported oil is a massive, costly and dangerous vulnerability. India has finally realized that true sovereignty requires energy independence. So India pulled the trigger on a massive counteroffensive: electric vehicles, green hydrogen, ethanol blending and metro expansions. But the ultimate heavy artillery in this war for independence is solar and wind. And the scale at which India is building is genuinely hard to comprehend. Deep inside the Thar Desert of Rajasthan lies the Badla Solar Park. Covering over 14,000 acres, this mechanical beast generates over 2,245 megawatts of electricity. To put that in perspective, this single facility can store enough power to run 5 entire countries the size of Sri Lanka at the exact same time. In Gujarat's Kutch region, the Kavda Solar Park is currently under construction. When fully operational, its capacity will exceed the total electricity requirements of the entire country of Pakistan. Move down to the dry, rain-starved lands of Karnataka and you will find the Pavagada Solar Park, known as Shaktisthala, generating 2,000 megawatts. It sits as the third largest in the country. In Andhra Pradesh, the Kurnool Ultra Mega Solar Park spans over 6,000 acres. It houses 40 lakh or 4 million individual solar panels. This park alone prevents 70,000 tons of toxic carbon emissions from entering the atmosphere every year. And the Rewa Solar Park in Madhya Pradesh, Dholera in Gujarat, Pokhran and Jaisalmer plants in Rajasthan. Today, India's annual solar capacity has easily surpassed global powers like the UK, France, Germany, Japan and Australia. India is no longer playing catch up. They are going toe to toe with the US and China. But why build in the harshest environments on earth? Because these deserts are a geopolitical cheat code. The Thar and Kutch regions experience brutal, high temperature sunlight for over 320 days a year. The rainfall is practically zero. But more importantly, building massive infrastructure in a country of 1.4 billion people usually involves years of painful land acquisition and protests. But out here, the local population is incredibly sparse. There are no land usage conflicts between the government, companies and civilians. The terrain is flat too, allowing engineers to to install endless straight rows of panels and turbines with ruthless efficiency. India is taking millions of acres of useless land and turning it into a hyper-efficient gold mine. So where does all this limitless power go? It floods directly into the national power grid. It is the invisible force now running mega cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Jaipur and Bangalore. It reaches the most remote villages. Citizens are now installing rooftop panels, using what they need and actually selling the excess power back to the government for a profit. It is fueling India's heavy industries like textiles, cement, chemicals and steel. And look at the Indian railways. As of 2026, 99% of this massive continent-spanning network is completely electrified. The target is set by 2030. Every station, every train and every signal system will be powered directly by sun. As the government heavily pushes for electric vehicles, the charging stations popping across the country won't be powered by dirty coal. They will be fueled by the desert. From jet fuel to cooking gas, green energy is hunting down and replacing crude oil in every single sector. If this plan works and India saves even half of the 12 lakh crore rupee import bill, it is a permanent game changer. That money builds the future, the elite infrastructure, world-class healthcare and total public welfare. It creates millions of jobs, strengthens the rupee and slashes pollution. But the Indian government has one final, brilliant move left on the chessboard, the National Green Hydrogen Mission. Using this massive surplus of green energy, India is manufacturing green hydrogen. They aren't just looking to power their own country. Deals are currently happening right now with Japan, Germany, Singapore, South Korea and the European Union, who are desperate for this clean fuel. India is about to flip the script. The nation that spent decades as a desperate energy consumer is now transforming into a dominant global energy exporter. According to global estimates, the world's fossil fuels will be completely exhausted in the next 50 to 70 years. While other nations are scrambling for the last drops of oil, India has already built the future. They made the right move at the exact right time. What is your take on India's master plan to abandon oil? Can they truly replace the Middle East as the world's energy powerhouse? Let me know your opinions in the comments below. If you want to understand the hidden forces shaping our world, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.